call the meeting to order. If going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anyone here for public discussion? Alright, we'll go ahead and move on to discussion decision, approve agenda and minutes dated August 26th.
Make a motion to approve the agenda minutes from August 26th.
Second.
Motion by Haas, seconded by Garmin. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next, we'll move on to the discussion decision, review and approve claims. Has everybody had a chance to look at it?
Thank you for the questions this morning. Thank you.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Garmin, second by Stecker to approve the claims. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries unanimous. Alright, next we'll move on to discussion decision to approve handwritten claims.
What was the reason that those all got done as handwrittens rather than normal? Like, I was just curious.
Card services, sometimes they come in past the deadline, but we can't wait till the next claim date because we don't want to pay late, so that's usually sometimes what happens with the credit card bills is they come in later, but we,
Just the timing.
yeah.
The due date's like the 27th, which doesn't match up with anything that we
Yeah,
had.
I'll make a motion to approve the handwritten claims.
Alright, motion by Haas,
I'll
second
second.
by Stecker to approve handwritten claims. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries unanimous.
and those claims are right here, Josh.
Okay. Minute here. Yeah, we moved to September already. Alright, next on the agenda is acknowledge budget status report. Anybody got any questions on that?
My recommendation would be try not to do two things at once.
What's that?
My recommendation would be try not to do two things at once.
Yeah,
That's
we
just
have a
curious.
schedule to keep here, so I'm trying to keep it moving. Alright, we'll have to let the record reflect that we acknowledge the budget status report. Thank you, Tammy. Next on the agenda is discussion decision approved date for courthouse training.
The past couple of years, we've had our safety training day where the courthouse is closed to the public. I guess the courthouse is closed to the public usually either half a day or a full day. This year we're on schedule for a full day so we can do a full, active shooter training. Typically, we have done Columbus Day, which would have been October 13th, because that's a federal holiday, and I guess we think people aren't 100% sure we're open. However, there's a district motion court day. So I'm proposing to have it October 30th, and it is not a court date. The topics, you want the topics?
So you're gonna close the courthouse?
To the public, the work, people will be working, but then we have a full training day. We cover harassment, which is an obligation that we do each year. The other topics, make it okay, Mercedes Becker, the hospital will talk on mental health. I think we have bloodborne pathogens on the schedule, and then a full overview of our tornado and fire drills, just so that people are reviewing that, fresh with that, and then law enforcement usually presents a safety training day.
I know, that's what we thought too, we were really hoping to have it October 13th, but
Yeah, I did ask the court administration next year to keep that in mind, because we've done that the past couple of years, and it's kind of set, but this is a change.
So, need a motion to,
I would assume, just so that you know that it will be closed to the public that day. And
okay,
then next year it'll be a half a day, but usually when we do the full exercise, it takes a full day.
yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the date for the courthouse training of October 30th.
Okay, we have a motion by Stecker for, closing the courthouse on October 30th for training.
To the public.
To the public, correct.
I can second that.
Second by Haas. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 We'll put that on your calendar, because you guys can come too.
Nope, I'm sick.
Motion
I'm
carried.
sick that day.
I will send an email out to all users letting them know that October 13th will no longer be the day and that we're
Yeah.
changing it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I would send it out and then
Thanks.
got notified that, yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Donna.
Catch back
And these ones too.
up. These ones are all. Do I stamp these ones?
Yeah, the top ones,
Yeah.
change claims.
And then there's the
Gotcha.
maintenance one.
Just stamp it on back.
That's fine.
Alright, next up, discussion decision complete form for Nyakog Housing Trust Fund USDA Rural Development Housing Preservation Grant.
I had sent you an email last week, I'm hoping you had a chance to look at that. They had, sent this information to us, hoping to have it back. Their closeout date, I believe, is,
September 4th.
yeah, so, I hope you had a chance to look at it to see if there's anything in conflict with that, or if it's something, I know, that's the thing, I'm not sure either. I didn't know if any of the boards that any of you were on talked about anything. I am not aware of anything, but that doesn't mean there's not something going on I don't know about.
I looked it over, I'm not following what you're talking about though right now as far as
So,
other boards and stuff.
well, it said, that you have to make sure that it's not, duplicating current activities. So if there's any board that you're on that's already doing the same thing that they're asking for, they want us to let them know that. Cause they're asking, one, proposed project or program is beneficial to Kossuth County, and two, the proposed project does not duplicate current activities.
Only
So-
beneficial if somebody applies and gets it.
So,
I mean, how would one even know?
I know.
If it's a conflict. If we don't get
If-
like a listing of things that,
If we knew some of like, say, I don't know, I'm trying to pull an example out of my head, but I don't have one, I don't know that we have anything specifically that duplicates this, so I guess. I think you would know, if we were on something that did that, we would probably know. Sooner or later, we would find out.
so,
yeah,
just sign them.
I don't know of anything.
Do we need anything more specific than that, or just to sign it, or fill it out and sign?
Yes, correct.
I'd make a motion to fill out and sign Nyakog Housing Trust Fund, USDA Rural Development Housing Preservation Grant form.
Okay, we got a motion by Stecker. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Garmin. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Alright, 8:15 on the dot, look at that.
Hey, how is it?
I put Maria's phone number on your packet this morning.
Corey coming over for this.
I would hope so.
Hi Maria, this is Josh over here in Kossuth County Board of Supervisors. We have 4 members of the board: Howard Haas, Amber Garmin, Kyle Steckard, myself, Josh Wachter. We have our auditor, Tammy Eden, present as well as, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So did you have any highlights for us, or we looking for input from our side?
I think where we left off was discussing the scope of the intended ordinance. So going back up to, really Article 2 definition, just really looking for some guidance along Article 1 purpose as well. If you have a draft open, if you're able to scroll to that section or turn to that section. Really just kind of that big overarching question of what is the intended scope of the ordinance? So how big of projects is the county wanting to regulate? Is the county wanting to set a specific size for utility scale solar ordinance projects? And what's sort of that underlying purpose that we want to recite in the purpose statement? And I think I drafted one based on the comprehensive plan and the CWEX ordinance language, similar ordinances around the state, but it's really it's your ordinance, it's your local policy, so want to make sure that those two sections are consistent with what you wanted.
The one thing that, I know Carter has some definite feelings about this, so, you know, I really do want him to be here for the conversation, but also don't wanna put off anything. The setbacks, so I have some people in my district that are wanting these, and they said that the setbacks to the residents is just too much. That it would affect things that they would like to have. So I know that you had made a comment about the setbacks, and is there a rhyme or reason as to why we picked the 500 feet, I believe it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are your guys' thoughts on the setbacks? Because that, I mean, I do feel like it's going to prevent possibly prevent people in my district from being able to go through with their projects. Anticipated projects, I should say.
Well, we talked about I was for less with myself, so
I was too. There was two.
what are
so-
they thinking? What are the people thinking?
They didn't really tell me, they just said that's too much.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah, we don't know if 5 feet would be too much, I mean.
Well, no, I don't think so, but,
So when they measured it from their property line or from the residence itself?
For the residents, it would be from the exterior wall, the nearest exterior wall of the residence, I mean,
Okay.
is typically how that's done, I don't know if it's defined that clearly in our definitions or not,
well, my biggest
but yeah, it
thing,
would be the actual building.
you know, my biggest thing with this is, we just really haven't had any opposition to these, to the solar. You know, when we were discussing, obviously, the windmills and things like that, we had packed rooms every time that we discussed anything. I haven't received one comment about people not wanting these. So that's where I kinda have that problem with that setback, like why are we putting in that setback if we really haven't had opposition? And is it typical?
I guess one of the things I would say on the setback side of things, having the ability for the company or whoever's putting up the project to get a waiver from that neighboring landowner with the residents, I feel should mitigate some of the issues with that.
Not necessarily.
Well, it doesn't guarantee that they can get a waiver, but it gives them the opportunity if they are working with that neighbor. So I guess in the spirit of communication and working together, I think that's a pretty reasonable requirement. And, I mean, if you look at hog buildings, for example, I think it's 1,800 feet for a setback, but you can get waivers. So if you don't get a waiver, then you can't build it that close, but, that's more than triple the setback that we're talking about here, so. And that's for a hog building that we have hundreds of in this county. And I'm not suggesting that that's a reason that we should do anything different on hog buildings or whatever, I'm just saying that there's still opportunities for things to happen with a setback like that with waivers allowed as well.
Can I ask a question of the attorney? Why did you ask us that question? You know, the last time we talked about this, can you kinda explain that?
Yeah, so anything that you have a basis to begin with. So I was just asking because, I assumed the board or the county had a basis for that distance specifically from an occupied residence. And if a court is looking at this ordinance, for example, not saying that the court ever would, but if it did, the court's standards are that any ordinance cannot include terms that are arbitrary, okay? So we just wanna make sure we're tying that, there's a nexus between that specific setback and, as where we started our conversation, the underlying purpose and intent of what is being regulated. So the why, the distance should have a nexus to the why in some way.
The fact that it was a compromise isn't a good reason.
Well, between what and what?
Between one person's opinion and another's.
Sometimes that's a good reason. In this case, there should probably at least be a basis for the person's opinion who wanted the 500 feet in the first place, or something greater, right? There's something to say that the county's importance on, the emphasis on aesthetics of farmland, and there's some tie between the aesthetic importance and the distance itself, that you can't see 400 feet, you can see solar arrays and they're going to have a adverse impact on someone, but 500 feet, you're not. I don't know the answer to that, but that's the kind of the thought process that I'm looking for.
I personally still think that it's too much.
Yeah, and you have a property line setback at 50 feet, an occupied residence 500. Is there a reason there's a difference there? Such a great difference.
The person that was arguing for more was not here, is not here. So,
Yeah,
that's a good question. Is it setting us up for to be challenged? Is that a fair question?
Yes, I think this section needs some further analysis and discussion. We don't see setbacks quite as much in solar project ordinances as we do in wind energy projects.
Okay, fair answer. Okay.
And I'm happy to continue
do you,
discussion.
do you have some examples of like high and low setbacks that you've seen from a residence, for example?
Not offhand,
Okay,
in a solar ordinance, you mean?
yep,
Not offhand, I can provide that though and follow up with some red lines on the ordinance, so.
yeah, that'd be alright, just curious what
Yeah,
some others
certainly
have
it's
done that way.
definitely, we looked at, early on,
Yeah.
4 or 5, 6 in the area that.
Yep, we looked at some other examples too, but I didn't know if you had any different ones.
Sure. The other big question is what kind and type of project does the board want to regulate? There's the definition of utility scale solar energy systems. There is a definition in state code that includes other types of energy systems, including coal as well, that are deemed utility scale by the Iowa Utilities Commission. And we usually say the cleanest way, of course, to regulate, say, if you need a certificate from the state, you need a permit from us. That's nice, clean, and easy. That size, though, is, I think, 25 megawatts is what the Utilities Commission deems the utility scale. I think the county did it in 10, if I'm not mistaken. I have 10.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Okay, so 10, with it 10 megawatts or more is what the county would prefer to regulate. And that's fine if that's the intention, I just wanted to make sure. And probably what I would suggest is modify this definition to otherwise track what the state code defines for utility scale solar energy systems, because there's consistency that, and I think that gives the board something good and solid to point to, that was the basis of the definition. So this definition is kind of derived from a number of different sources, which not to say it's not good, I think it's fairly good, but it's not exactly the same as the state's definition. So if we're going to rely on the state's definition, I just wanted to point out, instead of what's here, I just wanted to point out the state does regulate 25 or greater rather than 10 or greater. Just wanted to make sure I understood if you're wanting to regulate those smaller system projects, or if you want to start where the state standard starts at 25.
I think we were tying it to physical size and we were given some guidelines as to how many megawatts could be done per acre or whatever, how many acres per megawatt or something, and I think, so I think it was kind of a tie it together situation. It says 10 megawatts or 30 acres.
Yeah, okay. Did you want 10 megawatts or 38, or a total of 30 acres contiguous land area? Like an either or?
it says or, right?
Yeah, I think that's what we had talked about, yes.
Okay. are we talking contiguous agricultural land area? Or any kind of land area? I think probably any land area is what this.
Yeah, probably any land area.
Okay, okay,
So that or in there is not about megawatts or 30 acres, it says 10 megawatts or more, which spans a total of 30 acres of contiguous land.
Or which
Or,
stands.
there's two ors.
or, yeah, so
Yeah,
it'd
there's
be
two.
one.
Okay, okay, I'm sorry. Sorry,
So you want it, the board's intention is to keep that in, either 10 megawatts or more of output, or the amount of land, contiguous land for the project is 30 acres or more.
I believe that's what we talked about,
I got that
yeah.
too.
And do you care about the output, or do you care more about the amount of land that's being used for
Well-
the project?
Well, that's why I was going to ask it, you know, you do say that you generally do not generally advise identifying regulated system based on output capacity. Can you tell us why you don't recommend that?
Yeah, that puts, I think, the board in a more of a utility regulatory, role, which, if the board has some expertise in utilities regulation, then that is fine, but generally, the Utilities Commission is going to be the authority on, utility-specific terms and definitions. And, but again, going back to that why, what is the county's local concern with the total amount of output that these projects are capable of? And why wouldn't it just track what the Iowa Utilities Commission deems as the utility scale? It puts the county a bit at odds with our more expert regulators on the state level in terms of what is being the utility side. So there just may be that question of why. And I think the land area, the county's comprehensive plan certainly has some lies, of course, on preservation of agricultural land and balancing of competing land uses, where projects of similar size and scope should share the sort of precious resource we have in the land. You know, we need to have that balance. So I think land area makes has a stronger tie in my mind than total output. But that's just my thought. But if you had a reason or rationale for the output as well, I think you said you were tying the output to the amount of land that would be used to derive that amount of output from a particular project.
Could we tie it with the state code like you were talking about before and then, also have the 30 acres of contiguous land area? That way it would kind
So
of
you're
line up
saying-
with the state code, but then also have the 30 acres.
25 megawatts or 30 acres, is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
I think that would work.
I think a big portion of that was the footprint of what this project, these projects would, take up for, ag land or, any type of natural land or anything like that, just altering the land in general. And I think what we wanted to, regulate a little bit more was that footprint. And making sure that if they go above that they're kind of following our guidelines on it. Cause that's a large amount of land in an agricultural county to be used for utilities.
Yeah. Okay.
There again, I just think if we're following the guidelines of what the code says, the 25 megawatts, I don't know why we would limit them to 30 acres. I mean, if it's 40 acres that keeps them within that realm, what would be so wrong with that?
Well, I don't think we're trying to keep anybody from doing it, we're just trying to say, if you're gonna go above this size of a project,
You gotta follow.
we'd like
the
to
rules.
say on how you do it. I think that's kind of the whole purpose, we're not trying to keep people from doing these projects is.
So if somebody has a project that's 40 acres, and
Mhm.
Then they gotta follow the guidelines.
They gotta follow the guidelines, that's all it
oh,
states.
okay,
Yeah,
okay, it's
yeah, we're
not
not-
to
we're not-
prohibit it
No,
from
no,
being.
no, 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 no.
Okay,
that's-
I'm misunderstanding that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, if it's a large enough footprint, we wanna make sure that we're, you know, being good stewards of the land.
Okay.
Being an
I
agricultural,
thought we were limiting them to 30 acres total.
if the limit would be,
No, they just
if
follow
they're under that and they're under 25 megawatts,
We have no
We
say.
have
We have no
say.
say,
They
gotcha,
would, this wouldn't even apply to them.
Yep.
okay, understood, thanks.
I know that, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I can make that adjustment to track state code language, and then I will leave it to you, I mean, 10 megawatts was originally this, or, 30 acres was originally the scope, so I can just include that instead of the 25, or, so that you all have a chance to discuss the, size together when you have the other board members present, or even if one board member.
we're missing one, yeah.
Yeah, so I can certainly leave it the way it is and then drop a comment that state code is 25 for a certificate of necessity from the Iowa Utilities Commission, if you want to track that, and then also include the 30 acres of contiguous land area, and you all can have more discussion on that,
Okay.
if you like.
That sounds good, I think.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. The other question he touched on, I think I've made a few other changes, I think we've made some decisions on the grading and paving plan. So you can take a look at that very brief language on what will be required in application. The other question he touched on was obviously all those setbacks and whether a conservation area setback should be required or even referenced. Does the board know, that to be referenced? Is there some,
Kendall, do you or the conservation board have any thoughts on that, or did you look at this ordinance
I don't have any problem with this.
with or without conservation being listed, or which direction?
You could not list it,
Okay,
have a problem, we don't have a problem with solar.
okay,
should be okay?
so we can probably leave that off.
Okay.
So that's letter F under,
All right, well, I didn't have any other, I don't know if I had any other guidance questions. It'll just be a matter of narrowing down the setback. If you want to include setbacks, minimum setbacks and all, in the development plan. And then just taking a look, when I send you, taking a look at that definition to make sure it covers your intended scope. Take out the conservation area definition. So I'm gonna also remove public conservation areas from the definition section, referencing it in the setbacks portion, so you'll see that removed as well.
Okay,
Question, it says drainage tile in there, are we talking about any drainage tile, or are we talking about drainage district tile, or what are we talking about?
County tile, I believe.
do we need to specify that, because,
Yeah. just-
drainage district tile would be under Iowa Code 468, and the supervisors would act as trustees as default if the districts do not have their own trustees, but, we did not, I mean, I don't know that we have any jurisdiction over anything private, so, do we need to clarify that a little bit?
Yes, you can. I've seen it both ways. You can still require that even, I would say private, but private drainage tile trustee districts, that the development plan take those into consideration if the county so chooses. But if the intent is just the publicly managed drainage tile districts, I can include that. And I think you had that as a note as well. I don't think I had.
So there'd be a couple, variations there, even if they have private trustees, they're still governed under Iowa Code 468. But if it's just a private tile that wouldn't have trustees or any code specific ties with 468, so, that's, we're kinda talking about two different levels of
Okay.
private tile in that
Okay.
way.
So public drainage district tile, I don't know
I mean,
that, but,
you could possibly even just reference anything governed under Iowa Code 468 maybe.
yeah, I think that's the cleanest way. And I don't know if you want a specific distance there or just, as, with the consent of the drainage district trustees, whatever distance the specific trustees allow, I don't know, or if you wanted to keep a specific.
We'd probably wanna keep the specific setbacks, but we also have policies and procedures for crossing drainage district right away, which would also come into effect here too, but,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know, I think tying anything that's governed under 468 would probably be simple and clean
Okay.
as a definition. Anybody else thoughts on that?
I like the idea of a number in there, otherwise we're gonna be reviewing everything under the sun, and maybe we will be anyway, I don't know.
No.
I don't know if it's gotta be 100 feet or not, but if that's what's in 468,
The code doesn't say setbacks for that,
He's
but
saying
the
whatever.
code governs the drainage districts.
I understand that. I'm saying, I know you heard me, Kyle, I'm saying, I think that it's nice to have a number in there, I don't know how we justify it, but just room to work would be the justification,
Yeah,
but otherwise everybody would be coming in here saying, well, why isn't 15 feet enough, and they might anyway, of course, but.
Well, I think we have that number referenced in other ordinances as well. 100 feet from the tile.
I can tell you off the top of my head. I think solar's a little more. Well, like wind, if you had one tower that was close to a ditch, you could, they're not gonna put it close enough to the ditch that you stop operations of excavators, but two, you've got one specific site that's right here. You could work from the other side of the ditch, you could work from the edges, and you can still do the job you need to do. But with solar, if it's a continuous block of ground that's filled up, you don't have room to work, so that, I think, this is just, it's a little different context with the solar system than something else. I mean, it'd be the same as putting a machine shed up on the side of the ditch, you just can't do anything without removing the structure, so that's, I guess.
So then for B, where it says open drainage district, you wanna reference 468 there also, or?
Well, I would think in the definitions, if you put anything with drainage district tile and open ditch facilities, it could be like something drainage district tile, and any drainage district tile and open ditch facilities covered under Iowa Code 468 would be governed by this ordinance or whatever, I don't know.
That'd be easier to put under definitions.
Yeah, it'd be a definition, but then the definition would reference to the setbacks, or it would correlate with the setbacks, I should say.
You could do that, or it's just as easy to include that, just that phrase governed under Iowa Code Chapter 468. Under, those two, public drainage tile and open drainage ditches, but I'll take a look too and see if you've got some definitions in the parts of the code that I can borrow and cross-reference or include in definition section. It'll be in one of those two places.
Yeah, I guess whatever works, I don't,
Yeah.
care where it goes, but I think that would be clean. Anything else for today, or do we wait till Carter's back for the rest, or?
Talked about good points, but yeah, I mean, I think Carter should be involved here with the conversation for sure. But I think we're closer, just so we don't, put it off any, just try and get this done.
I was at the planning and zoning meeting last week, and the guys in the planning and zoning commission aren't interested in meeting on this anyway in the next 2 months, but that doesn't give much time between that and that came up that night, so.
Yeah, no doubt.
Maria, is it possible for you to make those changes and then we can have a fresh copy for the next time we meet to go through?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Just a couple questions, did we ever go over the decommissioning? I know we discussed who was going to be, in charge of reviewing the decommissioning. Did we ever make a decision on that, or is that one of the things that we need to discuss yet? Cause I know we had that conversation last time, but I don't know that we ever came to a conclusion.
Who's going to handle it?
Plan, but it doesn't specify who would be reviewing and approving them, and outside of the board, right now, the default is board supervisors gonna
Okay.
approve the plan. When it, because the plan has to be included in the application material,
Okay.
that will be it. So if you want the board itself to review, or if you want the county, the board with the, recommendation of the county engineer.
I think that would be fine.
Okay.
If you guys agree with that,
I don't know, I mean,
because if the board is approving, we can always have county engineer review it and give his recommendation to the board, but the board has the final approvals.
I don't know if that'd be something tied in with secondary roads really, or if it'd be more zoning administrator. But, I mean.
Well, if it's left up to the
Doug
board
did it,
approval.
Doug did it before because
Yeah.
he was
He
doing
was-
both,
yeah.
but I don't think that's from a responsibility of the secondary roads and the.
So if we leave that open, that the board of supervisors has the final say on it, we then at that point can, bring that plan before either or and get their recommendation on it, and then we have that final decision. I don't know that we need to have it say in there with the recommendation of the engineer. It would just be approved by the board of supervisors, and then we can request that, those two entities to look at it and give us their input.
Well, I think the one thing we need to remember is that engineers usually are here a longer length of time sometimes than supervisors.
Yeah.
And I think the importance of having some stability there would be a good thing. We may change every 4 years.
Yep.
We are, sitting here and doing this ordinance, somebody new is gonna come in and be like, okay, they didn't, maybe they don't even know we have one. I think there's some importance of having our county engineer on there. For that purpose, I really do.
And plus, if you look at all the information that should be in the decommissioning plan, it's helpful to have an extra set of eyes like a qualified engineer to review all of that.
I'm just saying, leaving that out for us to be able to, it's not a requirement that we have our engineer look over it, but it, we can still make that recommendation that we have an extra set of eyes on it, but just not tying it to the county engineer being a required party involved in that. Because if you have, planning and zoning, you could have other engineers look at it,
I don't remember specifically which topic it was that we were talking about, but when we were talking about this the last time, I'm pretty sure Doug even specifically said he didn't think something was a responsibility of the secondary roads department. And I guess from from the standpoint of what that department's responsible for, I don't know that a decommissioning project or a decommissioning plan for a solar project out in the middle of a field is a responsibility of the road department. I mean, not saying you can't look at it at the time, and it might be valuable information anyway, but,
Well, I guess this is one of those topics I'm gonna disagree with you on, or whoever thinks that I disagree. I disagree, but where it lands is where it's gonna land, but I am going to state that I disagree.
Howard, you have any thoughts?
You talking about you're looking at number, 5 here, or which one are you looking at?
8, Article 8 on
Yeah, you
page
did
6.
8. Oh, yeah, I'm in Article 8. The decommissioning and the plan shall contain number 5 within that, or?
I guess I was looking Article 8A, but maybe I'm in the wrong place.
I guess, yeah, under 8.5 I have as no transfer or assignment.
Okay, so you're looking at 8, alright, that's fine.
I guess like 4, it says the report prepared under paragraph B shall be updated and provided to the county at least every 5 years, but the question is maybe whether we specify who at the county or whether it's just the county in general.
I guess I could get on board with it being the county in general, and if we were gonna be more specific, I would go with the planning and zoning person over over the engineer specifically. But, I mean, it could be, if it's the board in general, then you can have the county engineer look into it, you can have planning and zoning, you can have somebody outside, it doesn't specifically fall to the county engineer. Seems like, I agree, it's like Doug's wanting to get out of that side, anything that's outside his scope, so. His normal scope of secondary roads.
And like I was saying, I mean, even if he's not listed there, we could still ask his opinion.
Absolutely, yeah. And I heard you, I hear what Amber is saying, that they're here on an ongoing basis, maybe longer than the board. Because you have a policy and somebody's gonna decommission one, you're gonna look up and see what's in there. Anyway. If I was gonna specifically list somebody, I'd go with planning and zoning. Whatever Corey's title is, administrator. Otherwise I'd go with the county and let us pick the
Yeah,
expertise.
Is there anything else on decommissioning that we need to talk about?
My perspective, the priority was financial security. When we last talked, that term is included here. I think that's similar to the financial security terms for the CWEX ordinance as well, so the county's being consistent there, which is good.
Yep.
and then one other question to change subjects, we did discuss permitting fees. Did we set a number on that, or
$1,000,
it is $1,000?
that's what
And
we
then
set per application last time.
per application, did we leave that open for changing?
By resolution.
And
The concern I had with the change by resolution is that it's only change an ordinance by another ordinance. I suppose if you have a fee, that's a fact, if you want to claim that has a fee, resolution. Yeah. Review and check the countywide fee, you could say, instead of setting something by ordinance, that you then have,
so not currently, I mean, we could, but I don't think we currently do.
How often do you think you might change this permit fee?
Yeah, we've got some things that have sat for 20 years. And
I
Not
don't,
adjusted,
yeah, I
so,
don't know
yeah.
how often we would change it, but I guess, I don't know if $1,000 for an application is enough for the scope of work that it would take to review something, that's larger than 30 acres or 25 megawatts. I think that'd be a sufficient amount of data and time, like when we have the permit fees for crossing drainage district tiles, it's per crossing, and that is up to $1,000 per crossing, which we did charge the max for the last 2 projects. So $1,000 for an entire application seems a little light to me, but just from a staff time aspect.
So is there a way to take the specific amount out of there, or, I heard you can't change it if you have it in an ordinance, so where can you have it and where can you place it to change it?
You could always amend your ordinance if you wanted to increase or decrease a fee.
We just go through the process to amend it.
You could say a permit fee in the amount set by board resolution, or the amount set by board. You just want to avoid appearing, again, in any way appearing, inconsistent between applicants. So just, ensure that all applicants are treated the same. The benefit of having a set fee in the ordinance is that all applicants are going to be treated the same. If you think that the fee should have some connection to actual cost. And I don't know what the 1,000, I can recall that was provided by the county as the approximate fee that for the CWEX application ordinances, that. How much it is per application for a CWEX?
I don't recall in the WEX application itself, but I do know the drainage district permit fee is up to $1,000 per crossing. So that's individual crossings, and
I can try to look and see if it says in the.
would we be able to tie something to acres? I mean, I'm not saying $1,000 per acre, but, would we be able to tie it to the scope of the project at all?
Yeah, it seems that you just have to be able to connect it to the actual cost of managing, of processing the application and administering the ordinance. So you just really need to have that tie. So if that tie is based on the size of the project, then you're gonna be putting more staff time for a project that spans more acres, then that should be articulated and explained, during the process of adoption of the ordinance. If $1,000 is what the county is typically charging for review of projects of this nature, I think you stay consistent with 1,000, but if you've used other figures in the past, then you can look at perhaps changing it to one of those. But yeah, just have that discussion maybe internally, what do we think is the appropriate amount, that would, compensate the county for having to put all this time and effort and expense on one landowner's request.
Okay.
And I don't have the wax ordinance open right now, but would you estimate that it might be similar to reviewing one of those types of projects, about the time and effort, amount of work, would that be similar?
I think Tammy's looking to see if it's in there.
Yeah, I'm looking, I'm just trying to remember the number.
Yeah, and and we could talk about that,
Yeah.
internally too, like you said, so I guess we can come back to that.
Yeah, we're not
I don't wanna
gonna
burn up
finish
the,
it.
yeah, I don't wanna burn up the whole morning.
Hold on, I think about it, I just gotta open it up here.
I'll highlight that for further discussion, and then if I have any suggestions, I'll include that in my email.
Sounds
Sounds
good.
good.
Alright, well, I will plan to make these adjustments and send it over to the team over at the county, and then you all can let me know how I can help from there, if you had a chance to take a look.
Sounds good.
Yep, thank you.
Alright.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ramir.
Thanks, everyone.
Yep.
Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Alright, let the record reflect no decision was made. No action taken. Alright, next up on our agenda is discussion decision approved administrator to sign new opioid settlements.
And save the interest of people in the room.
Yeah, let's skip down to bid opening at 9 o'clock, since it's 9:01. The last thing on our agenda.
Alright, we will skip that. Come back to it.
Yeah, they had the, I don't have them with me, they were down at
Oh, are
the,
they?
down at the desk, yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I could run and go grab them.
yeah,
Okay.
Thank you.
Corey, did you need anything else from us for now?
I don't think so.
Okay. Should be good then. Thank you.
Just in the interest of that $1,000, I think we're gonna have to go through one. Both things are gonna change. Some projects are gonna be more costly because of what's around them, so, and in 5 years, $1,000, if things keep going like they are, 1,000's gonna seem like 500. So you just have to put a number in
Or
there and
$5.
be prepared to change it.
Honestly, I like the idea of just tying it to a resolution, because you don't need to update a resolution every year,
No, you do every 5.
and they're,
All right,
they're,
morning all.
Good morning.
The bid opening for the Idell's Lusher Saturated Buffer Project. Looks like we have the one bid here from Reitzel Excavating Inc. for that work. Again, these will be opened and then math checked, numbers run by Idell's, and come back for consideration a week from today.
Did we only receive one?
It's only just the one, yeah. So we'll see what we get here. We go pretty quick.
You might win, Don.
I'll let you have a conversation with Idell's about that.
Yeah.
First, got the bid bond. So bid securities in the form of bid bond, 5%. Appears to be in order. Total for the project is $133,810.00. 133,810.00. So again, like I said, we will get that checked, tabulated, discussed with, thanks, Del. Check with Idell's and be back with a recommendation in a week's time.
perfect,
Thanks all.
Thank you.
thank you.
I'll leave these here with you as proof that they were opened
Alright.
and get these back to you when we've got them checked.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Tyler.
Thanks, Mike.
decision on that today, it'll be next week. So then we'll move back to discussion, decision, approve as administrator to sign new opioid settlements.
Or
That should
call
be
Todd.
Todd, right?
Mhm.
141,
Yes.
yeah.
Hey Todd, this is Josh from the boardroom. We are up to the opioid settlement.
Josh, when it's time. Okay.
Alright, thanks.
So I'm not finding a permit fee amount on the Wex bill, but I'll keep looking.
What is WEX?
Wind energy.
Wind energy conversion systems.
Okay, thank you.
Or CWAX, as Maria calls it, commercial wind energy. Wind energy conversion systems.
Okay, thank you.
So, I just haven't noticed this has been. Okay, so they might necessarily need to, this is just saying.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Hi,
Todd.
Todd. I have that.
How's it going today?
So, there are two upcoming, requests for acceptance of, being part of the class settlement. The first is the Purdue Sackler, settlement. That is required to be signed before the end of September. And then the secondary manufacturers settlement, which is October 8th deadline. The Purdue Sackler settlement, the Sacklers will be paying an aggregate of $6.5 billion in 16 payments over 15 years, including $1.5 billion on the settlement's effective date, which is expected to be in 2026. The Purdue estate is expected to be around 900 million. So quite large. The other, which the secondary manufacturers, the total is it adds up. But there's Alvogen, which is approximately 19 million. Amneal, which is approximately 74 million over 10 years. Apotex, and I have no idea if I'm pronouncing these correctly, is approximately 65 million. Hikma, approximately 98 million. In DVOR, approximately 75 million. Mylan, approximately 290 million. Sun, approximately 32 million, and Zydus, approximately 15 million. So, obviously there were some class actions going on, and so what we're doing is similar to the ones that we have been doing, or we have received, joining in on that. And so in doing so, you would be releasing, or we would be releasing the ability to go after them privately, which, yeah, that's
You're
just
real
not-
excited about that.
just not gonna happen. So, currently, I don't know what we have in the account, and I know we've had, and we need to meet again. We've had, a couple people interested in receiving some of those, for opioid, remediation, proceedings, and so, you know, we need to, we've kind of formed like a little committee just to review them, and we need to meet again, to try and finalize that, but we haven't spent any yet to date, so. And it is limited, and I'm assuming these will be the same type of limitation. They, all of the, funds need to go towards opioid remediation. And there's a definition, as to what that is. There's several different things that you can do, but it all has to be geared towards that.
Is that committee reviewing stuff and then bringing recommendations to the board, or how are we processing?
We haven't really had any recommendations. We had one which caused us to kind of meet. I presume what we'll do then is, since we got, I think, 2 more now, I think you actually received one, so we have 3 total, is get together. We had, no secret, I mean, it's me, Tammy, Roger, Bo, and then, I think we're going to try and get maybe someone from the schools
And maybe the hospital.
and maybe the hospital. So the first time we met, one time, was just, the 3 or 4 of us, actually, Derek was involved as well, but, so it's just kind of been, first time someone's made application for it, and it was, we had to kind of figure out where we're gonna go and what we're gonna do. I think, I have some structure that, I gleaned some information from other counties that have been involved in it, to have some structure and maybe set up a time, 2 times a year, so that, the committee can meet and, review any applicants. I don't know if we have, I know Derek's involvement was to put some of that information on the website. I'm not sure if we got to that point yet. But hopefully we'll be able to put the form on the website so people can fill it out with the identification that we'll meet once in the spring and once in the fall, to review them. And then, yeah, I assume, we don't have any structure on that yet, but I assume what the next step then would be is to bring it to the board for determination with our recommendations.
So, I don't know what these settlements would indicate. The money that we got came from a different settlement?
Yeah, there were actually 2 settlements before, and they've been, that was about 5 years ago.
I think so, yeah.
And they're paid over time, and of course, the numbers are big here, but that's throughout the United States and all of the different, political subdivisions. If for instance, back then, and I don't have any details on that yet, but, if the state of Iowa or any of the states received, all of the support of the locals, I think that increased the amount that was going to be distributed to the state. And so the reality is that I think with the first 2, most all of the counties were on board with it. I think some of the counties, and they're always gonna have that option, to join in or opt into the settlement and then just, defer payment to us and leave it to the state of Iowa. But we didn't decide to do that, which I think is, the correct response, so that we can have those dollars focused on Kossuth County, as opposed to just letting the state of Iowa do it. But some counties did that.
Our balance right now is $159,970.53.
Yeah.
So, there's no time limit to, I know it can only go to one play, or there's no time limit, you can keep it.
Yep, until there is a, determination for that the qualifications are met as far as the opioid remediation, there is no time frame. It's not like the FEMA funds, you have to spend it by a certain time. It's ours to spend on that type of programming.
So, if this committee got together and you, and I have no idea what the cost for those people is as an individual. What would you what do you have for, a case, would it cost $10,000? Would you award $10,000 per individual, or?
Well, so what would qualify for those individuals to have received funding?
Well, that, and how much would the committee recommend?
Well, actually, how they come in, they have, one of the things that they have to present to us is a cost associated with that. And then if the programming or the, whatever they're asking the money to be used for, if that's something that, is either a one-time expenditure or continuing expenditure, you know, though the dollar amounts would be, they would have to identify that for us. But I don't see, like, I don't know that, maybe one was a continuing, I think the other was, or at least the first one we received was just, for, a one-time program for education type of process. I did have a conversation with, a person last year, I think after she spoke with the board, about potentially starting some education in the Kossuth County schools, so all of them, Algona, Garrigan, up in North Union, so kind of like DARE, but more geared toward just opioids. And I told her that, you know, we're going to be putting the things together. I haven't heard from her since, so I don't know if that kind of dissipated or not, but yeah, so looking at it from the standpoint of expenditure, I think what our goal is for the committee, just to review them and determine whether or not, in our mind, it's something that's going to be feasible with the amount of money that we have in our funding, or in our fund, and then present that information to the board so you have the groundwork or the legwork completed, so you can make the ultimate determination as to whether or not that's feasible or appropriate.
Like the one request is less than $1,000.
Yeah.
I can't remember the other one, but
I wasn't excited about sending money to Mason City to a facility when we didn't know how many other facilities might open, but I could get behind if somebody was on our eastern border, it was 35 miles from Mason City, I could get on board with maybe, you know, sending
Sure.
some money, but, I guess yeah.
So today it's just approval. I think the agenda said administrator. So, I mean, if you wanna give, it doesn't, not,
You're fine.
yeah, whether it's me or whether it's Tammy, I don't
I
care. We just need-
recommend Todd.
We have, thank you. We have, I just have to have the authority of this collective group to, sign on behalf of the
Does
county.
the drainage clerk wanna do it?
No,
Oh.
that's trial by fire, I will decline.
I'll make a motion to approve our, county attorney as administrator for the new opioid settlements.
And to sign.
Yeah.
Good authority to sign. I can second that.
Alright, we got a motion by Stecker and second by Haas. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous.
I will get it signed probably, later this morning or this afternoon. I have court this morning too, so you
Excited.
came just in under the wire, so.
And you
Thanks
do,
for popping
you
Thank
do
you.
both of them, Todd.
What's
You
that?
do both of them.
Yes. And then any others that come in, I'm not aware of, but I will send it to the board just so you know what's going on, so.
Okay.
Thank
But
you.
those are the only two that I'm aware of.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Alright, here, on to,
Take a break.
I'm gonna take a quick break.
That's a great idea, my coffee's cold.
I'm gonna call Doug and let
There
him
you
know.
go, good, tell in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Think I'm giving you 10 minutes?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I do.
it might take that long.
Hey, Doug,
Hey, we're like, we're getting more than five.
10-minute break here and we'll be up to, start.
Can you tell me the basement and back, like, she needs it?
Yep.
And like, be nice.
I know we're still on recording, I don't wanna give some program, $100,000 to do something and then just have that fund somebody, you know, for 10 other things.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether we'll ever spend the money,
Well, the other thing, there's a
couple
couple,
of conferences I went to where they had, this kind of material, for lack of a better term, but it was stuff that you could actually put, say your oaks or
Dispose
pills
of.
in, and it would render them inactive or neutralize them so that they couldn't be taken by someone they weren't intended for or whatever. So if someone gets a prescription and maybe they're feeling better 3/4 of the way through and they don't take the last 5 days of it or 3 days or whatever, your excess pills could be disposed of properly. And there's stuff like that it could be spent on, that could be, they were talking about programs where you could actually send it out to every address in the county and you could have a way that people could easily get rid of their stuff, because then you would just put it in your household trash and dispose of it, because it would be rendered neutralized. So, there's plenty of options out there, and it's a big conversation on the national scale. Obviously, with those kind of dollar figures, it gets people's attention, but,
well, even us, there's gonna, I assume interest earned on that money has to stay in
it does,
too, so
yeah.
interest earned on that kind of money, at the rate we're going, would be self-supporting, so.
Eventually.
Have you got all the claims and stuff in here, are they back from my?
They're right here, I haven't touched them. Here, what, so what were these? I.
Taxes, they're just taxes that
For-
we pay every year.
For what?
So it says here. So this one would be for Cresco Township, so that would be.
Like it's a gravel pit, or? Kyle said something about, or Amber said something about if we charge rent, we had to pay taxes.
You'd have to ask, Nick.
Can I do that?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do it right now, but I will do it, I'll
Yeah.
get this stuff back to you.
absolutely.
Okay, thanks,
You're welcome. Yep.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Molly.
Good morning, how you doing?
I'm alright, how are you?
Doing good.
Did you have a good weekend?
I did.
Good.
Got a little rain, just a little bit, at the house.
What's a little bit?
I think it was like an
Inch and a quarter?
Yeah, I would say.
That's
at
what I
least.
had, an inch and a quarter,
Yeah,
so.
it rained hard.
Yeah, just what we needed.
I know, right.
At least it's not,
Where did it, we didn't get any rain over in Wesley, where Dale's at, none.
no kidding.
Yeah.
West Algonah, I got like at least an inch.
Yeah, we
I
out,
dumped an inch and a quarter, yeah, yesterday morning.
oh yeah, see, we put the dog in the shop for nothing, cause he hates storms, but yeah, we didn't get anything out there.
I know people in Burt, they didn't get anything either, nothing. We're just lucky, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's,
I have a horse with a sore leg, so he was really glad to have softer ground. Whatever we can do for him.
whatever you can do for your horse.
Yeah, right.
I can see where your priorities are, huh?
So like a hoof abscess, like it just won't get better, so. It also makes the grass grow, that's good.
Yeah,
And we already got our hay in, so.
unless you,
Some of it.
unless you mow, I guess if you mow, it's better than the drought.
That's true. If you've got goats, it's good.
Yeah,
No long
yeah, I
ones.
see your goats every now and then, I notice them.
I know, I got them in the backyard this weekend, that was good, so now that's gonna get mowed down. Letting goats mow your lawn sounds like a good idea, but it gets out of hand quickly, you gotta rotate through.
County farm.
Alright, we are all back. Tammy, you ready here?
I'm ready.
Go ahead, Doug.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We have one request for construction in a road right of way, and it is from Iowa Lakes Electric Cooperative. They are requesting to extend an existing overhead line on 50th Avenue, approximately 800 feet south, for some sort of a new service. This would be north, between 170 and 180th Street. And I would recommend approval of this request.
So moved.
Motion by Stecker. I'll second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor please say aye.
I,
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
Get your signature right there, Josh, please. Thank you. Perfect. That's all the requests we have for right away today.
And we're up for discussion.
The resurfacing projects, we do have some, traffic marking completed, however, they still need some symbols and they need to do some touch-up work. Not real satisfied with the, work that's been completed there, so we're in communication with the contractor on that, trying to get things worked out. Godberson Smith did pour the bridge deck north of Sexton Thursday, so they will continue to work on that. And the bridge deck, they should be able to strip that tomorrow, if it has strength, and continue with their construction of barrier rail and stripping the deck. And then we gotta get the approach guardrail, and it'll be completed. Seal coat work is complete. We do have center line marking scheduled for that, when Vogel traffic control can move in. Highway 18, those detours are still in effect. We did receive notice that Union Pacific Railroad is going to be doing some crossings down in the southwest portion of our county. They'll be, it's the Union Pacific Railroad crossing. This is all around West Bend and to the south and east, but they'll be working on 100th Street, 30 Avenue, 110th Street, and 120th Street. Those crossings take about 2 days to replace, so they will be moving in. They're in Humboldt County right now. They have a half a dozen to work on there, and then they'll move into Kossuth and move into Palo Alto and keep on moving up that line. Working on the annual report, do have it completed, proofreading it, but I'm planning on bringing it and presenting it to the Board of Supervisors next week. And this afternoon, we have another meeting on the funding for the bridge right around the corner from Michelson Marsh. That bridge we submitted to, actually, for what they call BIP bridge funding. Hopefully we can continue and receive funding to get that bridge replaced. And then transfer station, working on the comprehensive plan yet. And the recycling bins, concrete was poured, however, that entrance is not open, but as soon as it opens, we will clean that parking lot. They did use that for a little bit of staging, and we will get the recycling bins back into that parking lot. So that's kind of everything that's going on with the road department and transfer station.
Anything else?
For the traffic marking stuff that you were talking about at the beginning, what were the issues that we had, or what are we doing, or what?
Well,
are we
there's
doing to correct?
There's just some spots, I don't know if some of the guns were not working correctly.
Like it was
There's just places where it skipped.
Okay.
Just not real satisfied with the quality of that work,
Okay.
so.
I don't want the gig, but they moved around a little bit too.
Yes, that is, I've never driven a paint truck to see how straight it is. But yes, there was, they're not the straightest either, so. But that's a hard one to correct.
Yeah, no, I don't want the job either.
So, but other people, we've had other people do the work, and it seems to get done better.
Yeah.
So do you hire that done, or does the contractor?
That's part of the contract, yeah.
Okay,
All right.
good, thanks.
Thanks.
Alright, with that, we are moving on to review and approve drainage policy.
Okay, so, Doug and I and the other department heads have been talking about, years ago, a policy format was started. And so we're trying to get back, so all of our policies kind of have the same format. look a little bit better, follow the same line, so I took our policy, which looked like a letter to me, and put it into this format, and made the updates that we talked about last week and the one that was approved in January. And this is what I've come up with, and so I'm looking for any, criticism, any improvements, anything that you see that we can make. The purpose and the overview, I struggled with a little bit, I just made it very simple. If you think it needs to be, broadened a little bit, please let me know. Otherwise, I think it covers everything we talked about.
Yeah, I think referencing 468 is good. When we had talked before, the last thing about GPS coordinates obtained on any drainage repair,
That was in the letter
Yeah.
that we had before, so I just kind of pulled it out.
yeah, I guess for sake for changing or updating things, I would be supportive of making that any repair, but,
Like removing the amount and just, okay.
no. I mean, the intent was more bigger things previously, but it is a pretty simple program to use, and I think I don't think it's that hard. I think it's very good information and detail, and if a landowner's got any questions, we can pull it up and either talk about it or show it to them, or all the above. So I think it's very valuable, but
Is this something that contractors would do?
I usually
Go in and
have
do a
that, yeah,
repair? So any repair, or,
yeah.
What does that do for costs? Is it expensive? I mean, are we gonna be
I
jacking
believe
up?
we're paying for the licenses for the ones that are using it right now.
we're using it right now?
Reitzels, Lubenthal, I know Blair had a license at one point in time, but I don't think he's accessed it in a while. Erpeldings might have had a license at one point, but I don't know if they use it very often, but they don't do
They
a
don't
lot
do as
of
much
drainage
drainage
district
stuff.
stuff.
Where are we paying for that out of?
GIS. And Luke would have the whole list of all the contractors, but, I think every board member has a license, so. They're all for the same program.
So we're paying for the license, but when they go out and do the GPS, I'm sure there's a cost for that too, so who?
No, there's not. It's just an annual license for the access to the program. Doesn't matter if you use it once or a million times. It's not a cost per point or anything like that.
Is it
no.
per year?
It's
Per year?
annual, yep.
Do you know the cost of it?
Last time I asked, it was $350 a year for a license, I believe.
Well, if we're gonna require it, we need to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know like Bolton and Mink and ISG have both used it, but I think they have their own licenses already, they just need access to our map. But, yeah, I think it's valuable for contractors and engineers to have access to it. And I know everyone on the board has had access, or has had a license at least previously, I don't know if you guys have used it at all.
I didn't know I had one,
Yeah,
so,
Visit with Luke, he'll show you
Yeah.
how to use it.
Talk to them.
sure.
Yeah.
So, is there a, it's obvious, but we're gonna do it for every, excuse my choice of words, Tom, Dick, and Harry? You know, if a farmer fixes one himself, or can a farmer fix one himself?
Go into their drainage program.
They shouldn't typically, if we have a list of contractors that we have, on file that have insurance coverage, so that's the only ones that really should be doing, repair work. If a farmer does himself, he's probably not gonna turn it into the county, so I'm not saying that's never happened in history, cause I'm sure it probably has,
Sure.
but, we probably wouldn't know about it at that point, so I don't know, I mean,
How are we gonna get notice to them so that it's, you know, making sure that that does get done every time? How do we,
You don't pay for it if they don't do it.
send it out, and yeah, if we don't have a point on the map, then we don't pay the bill.
and then who will be checking that? Will our drainage clerk be looking with Luke and checking
So
on
we
that
would-
to?
If
Make
that's
sure
what we
it's
do,
done.
yeah, if we do that going forward, yeah, I would think that'd be
Do we need
something to
to,
confirm with claims.
do we need to make that in our policy, that they don't get paid if they don't put that point on the map? Does that need to be added?
It can be in the policy that the point needs to be added before invoices will be paid.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay,
I think that's okay to do that, it kind of seals it, it'll give them a little boost to
yeah,
do
The
it.
only danger I see here is how many times 350 or 400 or whatever, I mean, could it be 30 times, and do we care?
No, I would think you're probably gonna be under 10 for sure, but I'd say there's probably 5 or 6 that regularly do work for the county, I mean, if you look at.
Well,
our
it doesn't
drainage
matter how
plans-
regularly, or as you already said, it just.
well, and it's not, you're not purchasing a license for every person that works on the project, I mean, you've got your people that are
Sure,
in charge of the projects, you know,
sure,
the.
every contractor,
Yeah,
Each
yeah,
contractor.
yeah, I understand.
I mean,
so
there-
it'd be one license.
I think if you do this, you're gonna, 50 years from now, somebody's gonna be very happy that you did it, that's
Yeah.
my opinion.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
And that's why I've very strongly encouraged it for everything, I mean, I tried to get them for most, if not all, regardless of their price tag, just to have some sort of electronic record that
Yeah.
says we did stuff here and here and in between, and, I mean, I'm
And-
sure you could get it specific to every, last detail on that, but I mean, there's probably gonna be a variation between if you do 100 feet, you take a picture at every stick of pipe, you take a picture at start and stop, you take a picture before, during and after, I mean, at some point, it might get a little cumbersome, but I think just some general information that shows this is the area the work was performed and this is what was done, and at least decent outline of that is valuable.
How are we gonna give them notice that this is decided, that this policy?
Once the policy is approved, it needs to be sent out to all the contractors that do work for Kossuth County.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
who has that list?
I can tell you the ones that I work with, but
I mean, is there a list?
Well, the list that,
Anyone
I would
that
say
sends,
anybody
anyone that
that's-
sends a bill in to us. I
Yeah.
mean, we could put a list together pretty quick, but I'd say probably everyone that's on our, there is a list of who we have insurance coverage for
that's what I was gonna
somewhere, so
reference.
we could send it out to everybody on that list.
And a landowner suggests maybe on repairs, we should have a picture taken when they get there, a picture taken when they've uncovered the problem, and a picture taken when they've got it solved.
Before, during, and after.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I would agree with that, but then do you not pay the bill if they forgot one of the
Yeah, I know,
pictures? I mean,
yeah.
Well,
I'm
no.
just,
And that's like this, if you do not pay the bill, if they don't get, maybe you still pay the bill with strong admonishment, we'll do it once, but we're not gonna, you need to learn. Again, I don't know how cumbersome it is to go through the process.
it's really not, I think the biggest issue or concern I would have is if just by the hurry of doing the work, whether you're rushing the rain or whatever, if you forget something, I wouldn't wanna completely stab someone for not doing something 100%, especially in the beginning. I mean, maybe a year or two from now, when everybody's pretty comfortable with it, then you can ramp up the expectations, but I think just starting out with some general location data and pictures is a good start.
Talks about scale tickets at number 5, is that for bedding rock or what is that for?
For anything.
Yeah, for any rock, for engineering projects. Number,
Nothing can be whited out on those scale tickets, right?
shouldn't be,
I thought at one time there was some scale tickets that came in, things were, whited out. I can't say exactly where that was, but I remember a discussion.
If I could go back to Howard's question, and this is just something for my benefit. I have had, not a lot, but a few, when they come in and do the repair request, they've taken pictures with their phones.
landowners.
You landowners that have come in, I had one last week on one of these, do you want them
Yeah,
to?
they should always be put with these, whenever
Okay.
they have a picture, we need to put
Okay,
that
so just
with
have them
this.
email, it wasn't, I can't, he said something after that, and I don't remember what it was. But they can email them
Yes,
to
they
me
should
and,
email them to
okay,
you,
that
and
I
you should
didn't,
always have it with this.
okay, that I didn't know, so I will go ahead and do
Yeah.
that from now on.
That would be good, and I think maybe talk with Luke on the technical side of things, but there's, like, I'm fairly sure if you send it in a text message, it strips the location data.
Oh, okay,
But there is,
well, no, if they
depending-
email it to me, will that do the same thing?
I don't know.
Okay,
So depending on how they send it to you, we may be able to pull the actual GPS coordinate off of the details of the photo they took and then add that to our system as well.
okay,
So I've just, I would talk to Luke on the technical details of that, but we may be able to actually pull them directly into our program.
Okay.
With location data, depending on how they're conveyed to us.
I assume, I don't wanna get nitpicky, but I assume that's where the person's standing when they take the pictures, and that might not be the.
Yeah, it might not be,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you might be 10 feet away, whatever, but if you're close enough to take a picture, you're probably close enough to be in the ballpark.
the main purpose of the picture is to give information to
Right.
I wouldn't know how to send an email, but I know how to send a
Supervisors.
text.
I think that was the first time I had encountered that, so,
oh yeah, we get it quite a
And
bit.
okay.
Serious.
That's okay, alright.
I can take a picture and get it to you in text, but I couldn't get you to you in an email.
It's not too complicated. You'd figure it out pretty quick.
So, I have a question on number 2. When the repair request is $10,000 or higher, the supervisor who receives the request will bring it in front of the board. How do you know it's $10,000 until after it's done? So
Sometimes you don't.
well, for that to be in our policy though, I mean, it says,
Give it your best effort. If you come in here with a $30,000 bill and didn't ask ahead of time, we're gonna,
we can repair up to 50,000 without,
Without public hearing.
Yeah,
Or
without a
without 2 quotes by that, yeah.
so that $10,000 seems like it's kind of like out in the,
To some degree, it kind of is.
it is, we have a $10,000, but yet we have the 50,000. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, all the repair requests that I have had, I don't know if any of them are over $10,000, and I certainly, if they are, I didn't bring them in here. So, but I didn't also know that that existed, so, I don't know, it seems to me that those two statements kind of conflict each other.
And we could remove number 2 because number 3 is actually a reference in the code, so,
Yeah.
I mean, you can actually go above that without an engineer, but you'd still have to have a public hearing. So like, even the stuff that we were talking about with Carter's drain over in, it's a DD40 Whittemore, I think, where we had the informational meeting. You can do a repair, I don't even know what the exact dollar threshold is now. It's tied with the DOT competitive bid threshold, but I wanna say it's like 130 some thousand without being for a repair without being required to engage an engineer, so.
Yeah,
It's-
because that first one I had this year, that we.
About the trees,
Yeah, it was under 50, but it was just under 50,
oh,
but like in a normal scope, like. I mean, obviously, yeah, big projects like that, we all wanna be aware, but yet at the same time,
Well, I think that's kind of a moot point anyways, because all the repair requests come before us anyways. So we're gonna approve the supervisor handling the request, regardless if it's $10,000 or not. We all know that if it's $50,000 or greater,
Right.
we need to have a hearing.
yeah,
So, I mean, number two is kind of a moot point because all the requests come before us.
well,
But some of them
Sometimes it's
are,
after the fact.
yeah, sometimes it's completed before,
Yeah.
and I think that's the reason for that one is
And
if it's
I'm-
large like that, it
Oh.
needs to be
And I'm gonna say.
brought to the board
even
before,
though it isn't by what it used to,
yeah.
spending 25 or 30,000, and it does say somewhere a number, so the board supervisor will have a final say on any work to be done on district tile or ditches. Now, it's all district tile or ditches, but I, you know, there's a lot of talk going on out there, and I think all of us, in order to, I mean, call up your, I'm not out there, I don't have one, so, but Purplings would come to mind, Reddings would come to mind, Mansky's would come, I don't think Mansky's wanna do any, but, yeah,
for me,
you pick one, you know, and it's $35,000, that's, especially if it's not bid, you know, it's a license to.
yeah, and I'm not saying I disagree with having some kind of dollar amount, I'm just saying that those kind of conflict with one another.
they do.
So is there a way to word it that we're still, because like I said, I haven't went back to any of my requests, and maybe that's just something I need to do, which I'm fine with that, but I haven't went back to my requests to see what they cost.
Well, even like that one in Lone Rock, which was in your district, but I got called after it was already done. I mean, it was on a district facility, but and then we talked about it and approved it in the boardroom, but that was over 10,000 and none of us on the board would have known before the work was done. So, I mean, they were in communication with the city on that one, but.
I could be wrong, but I think the reason that was in there was, there was some times where approval was given, over that amount for the landowner to handle it without the rest of the board knowing. And where the board thought if it was over that $10,000 mark, that it should be talked about in the boardroom before the landowner was given permission to fix it.
I guess if they're gonna fix it, if it's gonna be a quickie fix, it's gonna, my feeling is it's gonna be under 10,000, if it's gonna be in one, you know, so I think I don't have a problem with it, I
It
guess.
just makes me confused on how I'm supposed to handle my stuff, because I don't know how much these things cost. Not saying that I've had anything that's been major, but I want to know that I'm following what is expected of me in here. And I want to follow what's expected of me, but yet at the same time, yeah, there's been a couple that they were already in there doing something, so, and they saw that this was, needed fixed too, so they just did it. Some of that is out of our control, some of it is fixed. I don't wanna be one who just goes out and says, hey, go ahead and repair that. I'd rather have it approved in here first.
Well, and sometimes you get out in the field and you think, okay, we might have to go 100 feet and fix a spot, and then you get out there and you can't find a good connection for 200 or 300 feet, and I mean, depending on what size pipe it is or whatever, there are situations where that can be difficult, but you don't know until you're there sometimes.
Is there a way, I don't know, I'm just throwing this out there, is there a way that a drainage clerk can, when these bills come in, you're the first point, and we definitely wanna know the repair request on those invoices, or the repair request comes with it. I've been trying to tell mine to do that. If there is one that is over the $10,000 mark, can you just bring it to our attention and we can at least check on it? Or bring it to the board's attention that this repair was over the $10,000, like is that $10,000 that
Well,
dollar amount we don't wanna?
And we could raise it to, I mean, yeah.
15 to 20.
well, we bring in now all of the drainage invoices for the chair to sign, so, the chair will see all of the invoices regardless of what the amount is. So, I
Okay,
don't-
but like then, that's fine, but like then, I don't know if there's any in my district that are over that.
Mhm.
I'm not saying I have any issues with any of this, I'm just trying to figure out a way that everybody can be happy and make sure that we're all, doing what's expected. So that's where I was confused on the number 2, that's all, cause I was like, well, I never went back and looked. I have no idea if any money were over 10,000, so I in essence wasn't following our policy, because I didn't even know that I was supposed to. I was looking at that $50,000 mark, knowing that we can go to that point, as long as it's not this here is 50,000 and then, oh, we're gonna do this here and they're connected and it's 50,000, we can't do that, but, I don't know.
It's probably a lot cleaner if it's correlated with the code, but. Yeah,
I just wanna do what's expected of me, and so I can be transparent to the landowners and all of that, and that's all I want, so.
plus, I guess with the conversation we already had about GPS coordinates, I mean, if we have those regardless of the price tag of the repair, we'll all have access to that, we'll be able to show landowners what was done regardless of the price. I mean, I think that's pretty good information and transparency, so.
On the spreadsheet that we have, is there a place to say what the cost was? I know it has a place to say whether it's complete or not. Could there be a column that has the price of it when the invoice comes in with that drainage repair request?
we could look at it.
You're referring to the spreadsheet that I fill out when I get the repair request, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and that one that follows your, I was looking
Yep.
at it this weekend, looking at mine to see, if I have any out there, and the couple that I've out there, I know are out there, but, maybe that would be a nice addition, like when you get that invoice, just put it in there what the cost was, and then we have access to it. We can just look at it.
So, when you look at the when you look at the drainage claims, per day that we approve, there's plenty of them that are, I have no idea if they're repairs or construction, but I assume they're repairs. Drain 133 sub 1, I'm not that familiar with where drain 133 is, at $24,390. That got my attention, if that was a repair, I don't think there'd be anything wrong with number 2 in that case, type of thing. That makes sense, did I fumble that along?
No, and I understand your point, I'm just trying to figure out how we get there, like, we don't
Well,
know.
it's just gonna be.
It's gonna be after the fact.
Well, but you're gonna get a feel, I mean, if it's a washout, it's not a $10,000.
So the drain 133 lot 2 stuff is what we talked about in the city of Fenton, which I got a call from Zach after.
Wasn't it Lona?
No,
It's
Well,
been,
Oh, I thought it was Lona, why did I think it was
no,
Lona?
it wasn't,
No, I'm not picking on that, I had no idea, I
Yeah, I
didn't even
don't
know
know
where
why
it
it's-
was, I just,
No, it's just one to look at
That's
probably.
definitely Lone Rock.
It
I
says,
thought it was.
I was just saying it says
It
Fenton
says
request.
Fenton, but it was in the city of Lone
Yeah,
Rock.
I thought it was Lone
But, so I got a call from Zach about that after he was done helping Logan. Logan Thompson had called Zach because he had more on his hands than he could handle and wanted to get done in a timely manner before another round of rain came. So they both worked on it together, but then at the end, after they had already buttoned everything up and basically had things leveled back out, Zach was gonna go put points on the map because he usually does. And then when he went to put points on the map, saw that it was literally right on top of the county tile, and he's like, well, we were working on county tile the whole time, it wasn't a city line. And
okay.
I told him that it was actually an Amber's district and I'd call her, but I mean, we filled out the request after the fact, but didn't.
So nobody's gonna get crucified for that, I mean, you know, we're not here to, it's just,
I've got him. Yeah, like the top one is, Thompson's was just under 10, but then.
there's always gonna be exceptions. I
Yeah.
don't see the 2 and 3 conflict that much myself,
Another 14,
I see a distinct difference between the
which
two.
these, actually, those should be, they're actually labeled a little bit different. You need to make sure that that's going on the same.
I don't know if there's enough room for anything, but like when you do an invoice and you pay it, is there any way that it could be request number 25 or something? Or
It
is
does say the
It does
request,
say,
like
it does
25
say that,
dash
yeah,
dash.
it does say it.
So, yep,
Oh,
we
wait,
do,
now mine opened, okay.
we do have
Okay,
the
good.
request
Yeah, it
number
does say
on
that.
it.
Thank you. I didn't look that close, I looked at the drain and the dollar,
Yep,
so that's helpful.
I'll
That is
look at it and
helpful.
see.
so like if it was, hypothetically, if it was repaired, well, the one from Erpelding's is 142-2024, so that was a repair request from last fall probably, or
Which,
winter.
that's good to know.
And
I
then,
mean,
and
yeah.
you can pull up the request from there. But they are labeled by the
Good.
request
Okay.
number, yep. In the description.
So the way it's brought to the supervisors is by claim,
Well, it is, yeah.
Mhm.
because
And-
this
and
would be the first that I knew what that repair cost was.
Yeah,
That's my big thing.
and we'd approve it at that point, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I don't really care how it's worded, I just wanna make sure I'm doing it the way I'm supposed to, but the way I see it is, I don't know until this, what it costs.
Well, and like I planned on talking about it when we get to it, but there's one for Matt Dahl and so Zach dug it up, but then he called Logan Thompson to try and jet it out. Well, Logan couldn't get through it, so then needed to get a higher power jetter in, which I think today, as long as it doesn't rain anymore, Empire Pipe out of Mankato is gonna come down with their jetter. So, I mean, I don't know what that price tag is gonna be all combined, but, depends, if they get through it in 20 minutes, might be pretty cheap. If they have to work at it for a couple hours, who knows? So I guess, yeah, just food for thought, situations, I mean.
I don't have any passion, or I mean, I don't have a strong passion, I just think you're covering your, you know, if you're gonna start spending 20, and I know in the example you gave, it was after the fact, and nobody's gonna bury anybody for that, but if you're gonna, I don't wanna get in trouble with the Bancroft Golf Course, but if you go up there and spend $20,000 cleaning that out, and there's still 3 rows of trees growing through, that doesn't seem very responsible to me. you know, if you're gonna spend 20,000, you probably should lay some solid tile in there and start over type of thing. I mean, I don't know, I don't see a huge conflict between two or three. If you get somewhere and it's gonna be a big deal, say, hey, I can't just give you the go-ahead to fix that, we're gonna talk about it in the board. But I don't care, you can take it out if you want, I'm not that passionate about it. I don't have any practical experience with what you're going through.
Well, the only way would be when you give it to the contractor, just say, yeah, I'd like an estimate of the cost before it's fixed. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't know that till you've got the whole.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And maybe we increase the threshold to 15 or 20, I mean, whatever, or maybe we try and keep an eye on situations through the rest of the year and see if we got any thoughts in another 3 months or something, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
so when I read it, I thought, oh, well, I haven't even looked at that. I don't know how much my repair costs were. I know I asked one, contractor, cause he called and said, hey, this and this is happening, so it's gonna be, we gotta fix a little bit further down the line, and I said, okay, like, how much money is that, because I don't wanna go, he goes, well, I mean, we're talking 5,000, and I'm like, oh, okay. So then I knew I was okay, but other than that, I haven't really checked on any of them.
Number, I don't know, I'm not to derail anything here, but I don't know if, any thoughts on number 8? We did assessments this year and, we've got a couple districts that would be involved in litigation. The goal of that was to send out kind of an update between when assessments were approved and when people received their tax bills, so that they had some notification on the front end and an explanation, which we're obviously past that time now, since tax statements have been received, but.
Well, and there was question too, like one of them that is new, the attorney was gonna apply for dismissal, so, does it need to be at a stage, does it need to be right away when it's filed, I think we need more information on how that
Well,
should be handled.
And based off of my memory of that conversation, and it also does say it in here, but it says at the start of any litigation as well as a yearly update. So I would say anything that we receive as litigation, just to start saying, hey, this petition was received, and basic info, at least that way. And then if it doesn't make it far past that stage, your next update would be pretty short and simple, but, I think we do need to inform whole districts of any active litigation or any start of new litigation, because otherwise, the only way they're really informed about stuff is seeing potential closed sessions on our agendas or paying attorney bills in our claims, and I just don't think that's enough. I mean, I've answered plenty of questions one-on-one with landowners in some of these districts, but I think we need to, I guess, do more as a board to inform owners, and that's what that conversation was centered around when we had questions for DD80's assessment, for example. That's when we were talking about it, and how can we notify people more, so. I don't know if anyone has any great ideas or suggestions on how to clarify that or add to it or whatever, but that's the conversation we had previously, I guess.
My concern is if it's something that's gonna be dismissed right away, you're sending out, if it's DD4 open ditch, you're sending out 300 letters, now you have 100 people calling, wanting to know what's happening, and then a couple weeks later it's dismissed. we wanna be making sure we're spending our money that cause the landowners are paying for these notices, that we're spending their money wisely and not, you know,
If we get a lawsuit dismissed 2 weeks after it gets started, I think I would celebrate that fact.
okay, I was just generalizing.
I know, I mean, that would be a dream situation for all of these, but I guess,
I mean, if we have thousands of dollars in attorney fees racking up because of an ongoing lawsuit, absolutely, I understand that. But I don't know, initially when we don't even know,
What's your thoughts on, okay, once litigation is started, we send it out? Send out a notice when litigation is done, like say it gets settled or whatever, unless that's like 2 weeks, I get it, but
it could be years down the road.
yeah, what about, I mean, they're going to get their assessment. The way we're gonna handle it from now on, it's gonna be a little bit easier to track what all the expenses are involved in these. If a person has a question, they can call the auditor's office, and the auditor's office can say, that drain is in litigation, and these are the bills associated with that litigation. I mean, I don't know if there's not much movement, if there's not much change, I don't know what kind of an update you're going to give them. The biggest thing we're gonna have is bills, and that is, they're notified of that when they get their assessment.
I think the goal of that line in general was to have extra notification that was a little bit more specific to the drain, so we'd have the ability to put, whether it's like a letter or whatever with it, with a narrative of whatever context that maybe could answer some of those questions on the front end, so you're not saying the same thing to 100 people over and over again. You give some context, and then if there is further questions, there's gonna be phone calls or emails or whatever, but it's no different than having people come into the boardroom and say, what's going on with this, cause we're watching the money fly out the door on these claims, and I mean, maybe we could have a threshold of so much in attorney fees spent and then we do it, but I think that gets a little more confusing. I think at the start and then once a year is kind of,
It really doesn't say anything about once a year, other than you're just gonna send an update between the time the assessments are approved and.
yeah, it's the start of any litigation as well as a yearly update between the time assessments are approved and mailed out.
Yeah, so you're assuming that you're gonna have an assessment.
Yeah, which
Well, yeah.
probably will if you're paying attorney bills. Especially any significant ones.
Unless there was already a balance, I think.
Correct.
I can see both ways, I can see the cost of doing it and causing there also might be a little, if you send it out right away, there also might be a little peer pressure.
I mean, I think it's difficult for landowners in the district to know that they have to pay a bill that they know very little about. And I mean, I've tried to explain situations as best as I can, and I mean, I've had that question asked more times than I can count of, why do we have to pay a bill when we can't even know the details of the case? And I said, well, because of some of those type of conversations, I've got a couple questions I need to ask, Goodwin the next time I talk to him, or we talk to him as a board, but at the end of the day, I mean, we're representing those districts as trustees, and I mean, it does cost money to send out notification, and I don't take that lightly, but I think the cost of sending out notification or publishing in the newspaper or whatever is a worthwhile expense for informing landowners of the bills that they're gonna be on the hook for. And litigation could be as simple as getting dismissed in a couple weeks, but it also could be as significant as 2 or 3 years going all the way to the Supreme Court and spend tens of thousands of dollars on attorney bills and then, I mean, you're gonna have to answer the questions one way or the other, whether it's after they get their assessments and start screaming and say, what's going on? Or whether you update them as you go and at least they have a heads up that something's coming.
Is there any, I know I'm gonna get blasted here, is there any movement toward, in the code and in the talk and everywhere, about going away from snail mail to nothing like that?
I haven't seen anything.
There was discussion probably 2 years ago about eliminating the requirements to send out mail and then just posting on a common website that the state was gonna host through the Secretary of State. But I don't think that really got a ton of traction, but I remember it specifically because I was at the Capitol the day it was discussed on the floor and I sat in for some of the debate. But, I can't say that it's been a big push.
It's not coming anytime soon.
Not that I'm
I haven't seen
under,
anything.
yeah, not that I'm aware of, but I
Okay.
can't say it's not possible.
That's fine. I think about my analogy, 25 years ago, you know, there was some people out there with an email address but now if anybody's doing a class reunion, I don't think there's very many get sent in the mail anymore. If you don't provide an email address, you're out of luck type of thing, so.
Yeah,
We'll get there, but it's just gonna take a few more years or something,
probably.
so.
And I mean, even number 7 has notification stuff with it, but that's, sending a postcard for timing of bid letting, which I'm guessing we probably didn't do that for the one today, but also the district's not gonna pay for any of that, so we shouldn't really need to because the district is not going to receive a bill for any of that.
And Tyler did talk about that at one of the meetings we had,
Right.
that
Yeah,
we
and
didn't need to do that,
I think we
so.
talked about it as well, but I mean, like, a big tile improvement project or whatever, I mean, that was the intent of letting people know when the bids were coming in so they could be informed and it's just kind of a cost of doing business, the way I look at it.
So how did this come up, number 8? I mean, are you were worried we were gonna eliminate it? You think we should eliminate it or what?
No, I think we should keep it, if not expand on it.
And what would the
And maybe
expansion be?
details, well, maybe part of the conversation is what do we do for this year, because we're already past the time when people received assessments and,
Well, we didn't do it this year.
no, we didn't, so,
So let's look at next year.
and that's a fair answer, I'm just
Yeah,
opening the door
Kind
for
of an-
conversation.
yeah.
All in all, I think it's put together pretty well, I don't see a serious problem with it. I don't even know if it's time, but I'll make a motion, we approve this and we still have room for discussion and we can change it.
Yeah, we can update it if needed down the road or whatever too, so I'll second that and then have more discussion.
Alright, we got a motion by Haas to approve as presented, and seconded by Stecker.
And not trying to shut anybody off at all.
Well, we kinda talked about changes
Yeah,
today.
I changed it, some things already on here,
So
so.
with, alright,
Be approve as discussed, I would say,
Okay.
not as presented.
my only question
You
on
want
the
that,
litigation thing,
That's fine.
Tammy, could it be, I don't know how the assessments are mailed, the drainage assessments, but could this informational letter be sent with their assessment if they have?
Well, that would be a question
Like if
for
it's
the
all-
treasurer, because they send out those
Well,
assessments,
then
so.
we need to ask Masters Touch. 'Cause-
No, the drainage assessments get sent by the treasurer's office,
Okay.
the tax statements get sent by
So,
Master's Touch,
I
so.
mean, that might be like less confusing if we're gonna do a yearly letter for this. maybe less confusing if they get the letter with that assessment and they open their assessment and it explains, okay, here it is. So you get the, otherwise you get the letter, then you get the assessment. Well, say you didn't even open that letter. You know, here, you're gonna open up the drainage. You're gonna, everybody knows what their tax statements look like. You're gonna open them. So I would think we could maybe coordinate that with Nick and their office to send it with.
And I guess my only thought on that, not to just disagree, but my only thought there is at that point, you've already got your bill in hand, so nothing's gonna, I mean, maybe nothing changes in between anyway, but,
Right. You're gonna get the bill anyway. This way you're getting it with the bill and you're looking at it like, what the heck is this? Oh, well, here's this letter, it's this. It might cut down on the traffic of phone calls
the confusion.
for Tammy's office.
And it could cut down on the cost of it too, cause if we're
Yes.
just printing out a letter and just sticking it in the same envelope as the assessments, that would eliminate the cost.
It'd be
eliminates the
worth
cost.
looking into, I don't know if that'd be feasible or not, but, yeah.
Well, I mean, we're only talking maybe what, did we say like 300 letters?
And that's just if it's
Well, that's
drained fuller, most of them
Yeah.
aren't that big.
Yeah, most are smaller,
Um,
we've got a couple drains that are sizable, but
and remember, these are only ones that have litigation, so it's
Yeah.
not, hopefully on a normal year, not gonna have a lot. Right now we do, but
like DD 80 would have been one, I mean, that's, I couldn't tell you how many acres are in there, but that's a big one, and that case went all the way to the Supreme Court, so I mean, there's sometimes significant time and resources involved with that.
will you just tell me how you want it worded? Just so we understand, so Jennifer understands when it's being started and what's expected on a yearly basis. That's what I meant by expanding it, is just so it's clear that we know that.
If
I
there
mean,
is an
if a-
assessment that year, then.
Yeah, you know, if you say, if you mean by the start of any litigation, if you mean as soon as that case is filed and we receive it, then that's fine, as long as we know what that means.
I guess I would say as soon as we get served papers for a case, we should be, I mean, I don't expect the letters to be ready the afternoon the service is received, but I think we should.
They're not gonna be.
I know, I was being a
I-
little facetious, but
2 weeks.
at the end of the day, I mean, I would say that should be a trigger point, that we received a petition or a lawsuit, so then we send letters out. It's whatever we reasonably can, whether that's a week or 2 or 3, whatever,
And
within
then-
reason.
And then an update to be sent out with assessments.
Might be worth getting an answer from Nick before we put that in policy, but I don't know how we word it
I
today.
don't know why they couldn't, because they used to when they did the drainage taxes, or when they did the regular taxes and sent them in envelopes, they correlated it with the drainage assessments to send them together.
And we can
So-
help with that too, you know, if we have one that needs to go out, there's no reason why we can't help with that too, so.
Okay.
I think it would help eliminate some of the questions in their office. I've been in their shoes before, and sometimes it's difficult. If you get 2 different ones you don't understand, if you get it with that dollar amount, it doesn't change anything. It's still that dollar amount, but it's explained in that letter,
What portion of that dollar amount is?
Yes. is litigation.
Yep. Okay, any further discussion on the motion, or are we sticking with the motion as discussed?
Well, I wanna verify some things
Sure.
before
Sure.
we approve anything. So, are we changing anything in number 2?
Keep it or move.
I mean,
I think we're kind of on agreement of keeping it, the only thing I would say that it could change is possibly dollar amount, because he could reach $10,000 quickly. Do we wanna increase that to 20?
I don't care either way about the dollar amount, I just think for my own, if the auditor's office is willing to put that dollar amount in the spreadsheet, you know, so that when, you know, we scroll through to find our repairs and if they've been done, if there is one that catches our eye, then we can, that's like 15,000. Then I can be like, okay, I did go through my repair request, this one was 15,000, that gives me an opportunity to check with the person who did the work to maybe explain that, and I can explain it in here. I'm okay with the 10,000, I just didn't know how to handle it with the 50,000 threshold, that was all my.
Okay.
So I'm okay with it being in there and staying.
That should be an easy column to add, I don't think we should have any issues with that.
Okay.
I think that should be,
How are you good with sticking 10,000?
I have no, my overall question is gonna be, we were deferring for, to next week for the solar ordinance for Carter. I mean, do you wanna defer this to next week, or I'm all in favor of getting it wrapped up myself, but is he gonna feel left out?
Well, what we could do, I'm okay with doing it, but then, you know, maybe just put it on there as a discussion point next week to fill them in with a copy of
Is he
it.
gonna be back next week?
well, we could, I don't remember him saying
The
he
other
wasn't
option
going to be.
is to make the changes and then do the final approval next week.
Yeah, I mean, we could let Tammy
That way we
do
could
some
see the
final edits and
Full
have it
final
actually
version.
Question.
finalized.
Yep.
But I'm sure she wants to know exactly what she's
Yeah,
editing, so
yeah,
follow through that right now.
yeah. Number 8, so if I change it, so an informational letter shall be sent to landowners of any district at the start of any litigation. I mean, as long as Jennifer and I know what that means, I'm fine with leaving that. As well as a yearly update, and then remove between the time assessments are approved and mailed out, and add mailed with drainage assessments. Is that okay if we do that? Okay. And then number 10, I've removed the first part of it, and added, GPS points need to be added before, oh, I'm sorry. The first sentence, the first line, and the but I've removed, and it will start with GPS coordinates from start to finish are required on all drainage repair requests. GPS points need to be added before invoice will be paid. And then I took out the over 15,000.
Sounds like what
Is
we
that
discussed.
okay?
Sounds fair.
Okay. And then do you want to change your motion, Howard, for the auditor to update the policy for final review next week, or I don't know?
I think I'll withdraw the motion if we're
Okay.
gonna, and just ask you to get this, as what Josh said,
Okay,
and we'll just approve it next week. But again, I don't want you to go through the work of changing and make, but Carter could say no next week too, I guess.
Yep.
Or have ideas.
okay,
I hate to hold us hostage to somebody being gone,
I don't know that any of this is
that kind of
critical or controversial or whatever, so it's probably not a
We
big
should
issue either way.
Be done with it.
Hey, yeah, I
You
still
want-
like seeing the final version before
Okay.
approving it.
Alright.
In my opinion, that's the way I like to do
So I'll
things.
withdraw the motion.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
So we can just have it in the minutes, the discussions,
Okay.
good. Change over.
Yep, next on the agenda is discussion decision, approved change order number 2 for DD for lap 40 improvements. That is in our packet as well,
that one, yeah.
folder.
We have signed copies, well,
Anybody have questions, concerns with it?
Right now, I think I tried to explore it, what is the change order?
it's, rectification of quantities for concrete.
That's right, okay, I saw
So
that,
would lower it.
Doug's, or, I saw it, the concrete is big.
38 lineal feet,
More,
more than what was
that's
planned.
8,000
It's not very small, 48 inch, so yeah, that adds up in a hurry. I don't know if that was one that, I don't think that was, I don't know if it was originally part of the bid, I tried to look at that, but, oh yeah, well, it's on here. Yeah, they have the total, so yeah, it would've been on there, so it's just a change in quantity, they had 66 feet originally.
I saw that, they about to read through the details. So what do you need here?
I'd make a motion to approve change order number 2.
Motion by Stecker,
I'll second.
second by Haas. Any further discussion on motion? Hearing none, all those in favor please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carried unanimous.
And that obviously correlates with the pay app number 4.
I guess I'm gonna go off the reservation just a little bit and ask, where are we making sure, I know everybody's happy up to this point up there with but do we think the communication has been good and everybody's happy with what's been done and do we have a report to that effect and?
For lap 40, I don't think there's as much concern as lap 42 is.
Well, I'm talking about the rock issues from 80 and stuff, I know there's no issues here. I mean,
There-
Are we
like the
getting
last
the
time-
communication we want?
Last time I was up there, I had gone through the entire project start to finish. There were multiple sites where there was rock out there. It wasn't near as bad as the sites on 60 sub 4, but I took pictures of some, and I specifically told Tyler he needed pictures and GPS coordinates and that need to be communicated. So I haven't seen confirmation of communication with Reitzel's for that, but, I guess we're not at the closing
Yeah,
yet
yeah,
either,
yeah.
so I would hope and anticipate that gets taken care of yet.
I just don't wanna revisit that,
Yeah,
wanna learn from our mistakes, yes.
yep,
So, you need a motion,
Need a motion.
I can do that.
I'll second for pay full.
Motion by Haas to approve pay app number 4. And second by Stecker. Any further discussion?
Are they done with 40?
Pretty close. Balance left to finish on here says $12,000, so.
Are they done with the work?
I think so, the last I heard, I knew they were working on some cross connections, but they had the actual tile installed.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. Next up is drainage repair requests.
These are both for Kyle.
One of them I talked about a
Winner,
little
winner.
bit.
Yeah, I missed them in our packet. Mine didn't scroll any further.
They're page 78, 79.
Mine might stop there.
I've had that problem.
Yeah, so
Not this time, I've had that problem before. Actually, might stop it.
Mine,
yeah, no, that's fine, I know
just
where
there, and I
it's
went
at.
out of it, and thought, oh, they must be someplace else, and I'm not.
Just a washout in multiple areas. It started at the other ditch and just went from there.
Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, 68 is indeed for lat 31 and Harrison section 17. Tiles plugged and jetted, and that's what I talked about. They attempted already and could not get very far, so we'll keep working to see if we can get that open. The scary part is that's through railroad, tracks, which
Aren't
luckily those tracks are not in use, but, that is a very difficult situation as history has proved itself in other areas of the county with the same railroad. So, number 69 is in Ramsey, section 35 for tile washout multiple areas.
Yeah, mine just freezes. I can't.
You might have to restart Adobe.
That's okay, I mean, it's.
So you want a motion to approve these?
Yeah, looking for a motion to
I guess I can do that.
approve.
That's better.
A motion by Haas, second by Garmin to approve the repair requests. Any further discussion? Nope. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. We are on to discussion with our auditor. Or is there anything more for drainage? We'll wait on quick.
Well, not really, but I was gonna bring up, I didn't know the proper time to bring it up, I didn't know if we could maybe put it on the agenda for some discussion, this is drainage, but, for a drainage engineer, meaning actual engineer for Kossuth County, drainage engineer for Kossuth County.
Have our own in-house,
Huh?
have our,
Yeah, could we at least have a conversation in regards to it?
yeah.
If you guys want to,
Nothing wrong with having the discussion.
I think we should at least have a discussion.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'll bring to the table, except for the fact that I think we need one.
As much drainage as we do in Kossuth County.
There's
Yeah.
quite a bit. Yep.
So I don't know if, and then it doesn't have to be next week, it doesn't have to be in the next month, but I just think we really need to discuss that and
Yeah.
how it would look and how we could possibly do it.
Yeah, it'd be nice to continue that conversation that we had about in that workshop before, so, yep,
Yeah,
it'd be good to
I think,
continue that.
I agree. When do you want that on, Amber?
I guess I don't care, it's not like it's this hurry thing, but I would really like to talk about it, you know.
I don't remember if Carter was gonna be back next week or not, so maybe a couple, 2 or 3 weeks, I don't know.
Do like
They're
16th
getting
or,
out 3 weeks, I don't want to go a whole lot further.
Yeah.
And we could wait till after harvest too.
I hesitate to say frivolous, but
Yeah, well, that'd be a time when you find all the issues, so it might be a good
Well,
time.
you know, and it'll just be a discussion, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think we will probably be making a decision, but
If we
do we,
spend 10 or 15 minutes on it, we can always move on.
just talking about
Later.
if everybody feels it's necessary, whatever, and then maybe explore it a little bit further, but.
we could put it on for the 16th, that's in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Before,
do that.
hopefully that'll be before harvest, but, okay.
A lot can happen in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Alright, very good. Anything further for drainage?
You guys have covered everything I got.
Okay.
Alright,
Sounds good.
obviously I have drainage stuff, so.
I guess not.
Well, then we'll move on to discussion with our auditor.
Okay, so next week, we have big consideration for IDALs. We have, JDD PAK1 main open ditch repairs, accept plans and specifications and set date and time for bid letting. And then we have presentation of a drainage district engineering services from Agravia. They wanna introduce themselves and talk to you guys about what they can offer the county. So that's what's on for next
know
week
where
so
they're
far. Look. It's been like a month or two since they asked to be on the agenda, so it's been a while since.
Their
Perry,
Very.
is where their office is located.
Agravia,
Yeah, it's AGRI capital VIA, all one word.
thank you.
Okay. And then regarding DD 18, which is a private trustee drain. I sent you an email saying that, one of the trustees had contacted me saying that he had asked the previous drainage clerk to spread $1,000. I could not find anything that stated that. I asked him to send me a copy, of that information. He sent me a copy of the meeting minutes dated May 31st, 2025. My concern is that is awful late in the year, for them to decide that under normal years, that would be too late. So I will, talk to him about that to make sure if they are gonna have us spread that it's done prior to that, cause we need to have that information early May at the
Do
latest.
we have deadlines we'd like to see?
Is that something we add to our policy?
Yeah, I mean, you know, well,
We're gonna go
would
from a
April,
2-page to a 6-page.
would April 30th be good? Because, you know, if we're approving the ours in May, then that stuff's already done and included, and then we just,
April 30th, I like that idea.
Even, yeah, I was gonna say, make a version, it doesn't make any substantial difference.
Yeah. so we have it before, you know.
There's like 3 or 4 total, is there more than that?
I'd probably say 4 or 5.
I know there used to be 4, but.
There's 2 that were added and 1 that has been dropped since I've been on the board.
There's probably 5.
So yeah, 5.
Okay, I'll add that to the policy. So the question was, I'm not denying that he notified us, you know, that he probably did. Of course, it did not get spread, it did not get listed on the assessments. It was not given to me or to the board, I don't believe that that was requested. So I asked other auditors in District 2, if they've had this happen before and how this should be handled. I got some responses, nobody's had this exactly happen before. I did get an email from Emmett County. She said the law states special assessments need to happen in the same manner as property tax collection. I'm going to guess you have to wait until next year to assess this, and I agree with that statement. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. I have not, let DD 18 know that yet. I wanted to see if you had any other insider ideas, but, I'm guessing that that statement is correct and that we will not be able to make that assessment this year.
When this trustee came and said I asked,
He said he provided the minutes, these minutes
right, I
that he
understand,
provided
but
to me.
there's gotta be, how do we know that? type of thing?
We don't know that.
Is there a process where we should know that?
Well, that's why I think it's important that if it's in the policy that they submit it by April 30th. It's a good idea to add it to the policy so that they know that.
And how are they gonna submit it, just by submitting the minutes, or?
I would say minutes need to be submitted.
So he,
And this may be even getting a little technical, but are those draft minutes or have they had a meeting since then to approve the minutes? So, I mean,
I agree.
our minutes from today won't be official and recognized until
Sure.
next week,
Sure.
when we have our next meeting,
Sure.
so.
And so I guess my question would be, if this is hindsight, and it's not fair to the person, but if I drop something off, would I want something, an acknowledgement that I dropped it off?
You would think so. I mean, we try to timestamp everything that we receive.
Right, but
You
what
would
would
think
he
they
get,
would
what would
want-
he get?
Well, he could ask for a copy of
Copy
that.
of it.
Okay,
It would be stamped received and then you can make a copy at that point.
okay, that sounds
And I
good.
would think there could be a simple form that they could, a simple format that they could send it to us on with all their trustees signing it.
Yeah,
Yeah. that
And
would
if
be-
they're doing it, if it's kind of an action item at their meeting to decide that,
Yep.
that would be enough, but they could have it signed at their meeting.
Well, and that's the other thing to note about this, there's no signature on any of this.
Oh, so I think we need some
yeah, we
signatures.
definitely need signatures of
There's
the
email addresses,
trustees
but
that voted.
there's no signatures of
Yeah.
the chairman or
And-
anything.
And that probably is the
Email
benefit
address is not
of
an
having a
operation.
template that says this is the district, this is the date of the meeting, this is people that were present, and their votes and how much they want assessed.
Yeah. And they need
It
to
probably
sign it.
doesn't, yeah, it doesn't need to be complicated, but
Well,
No.
have your basic information and signatures.
the other information that I received was one county, when they only have one drainage district in their whole county, and it is run by trustees, lucky them. They,
Wanna move there.
I know, right?
I bet they have a lot of experience. in
yeah,
drainage.
right? So, they do all theirs, well, they do all theirs, they do their one by resolution. When they wanna spread it, they do a resolution.
Oh,
And that
But
is
the
how,
the private trustees do a resolution? or the
no, the
board?
board passes it by resolution. So
Okay,
they submit it to the auditor does the resolution for the board to approve. And then that way they know that that's
and
what's
it's
being
part
spread.
of our minutes as well,
Mhm.
okay? Because we're
just-
actually sending them.
Yeah, that's just an
Okay.
idea, and like I said, they only have one, so,
That's,
you know, but,
Well, we got a couple.
you're on the right track.
but yeah,
We got a
so,
couple, but you could list them all out in the same resolution.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yep,
yeah. So I don't think resolution's a bad idea, it's a really good paper trail, and then it shows the
Yeah.
authorization, but,
And then if it wasn't approved and received by the board for some odd reason, they would be able to see that by not seeing it in the agenda and minutes and all that, and they'd be able to kind of
Mhm.
double check and make sure that it got done and could have raised the red flag
well, and
3 months ago rather than.
we do, separate resolutions for each joint drain that we have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it'd be in the same line.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably the way to go.
Okay,
I wouldn't have any issue with combining them on the same resolution, just saying these are private trustee managed drains and the drain and the dollar amounts, but I guess I don't have a strong opinion either way, just try to make it simple.
okay, so are you okay with me advising DD 18, that unfortunately that assessment will have to wait till next year?
Yeah,
I don't think you have
I
any
don't see
other
the
option.
there's no other option.
Okay, then I will do that.
I mean, there's obviously been a lot going on in this time period, so.
Well,
And
here,
that's-
here's a here again, this is an improvement to the way things were done. This is a good improvement going forward.
And it is I mean, it's a relatively small dollar figure too, so.
And then just a reminder, we're still holding on the final payment for, DD 60.
Subfloor.
Yeah,
I did get a response from Tad after our last discussion about that, and he said, I think the coming Thursday, pull that up, that they were going to start, working on that, and he said they'd let me know if any updates that way.
okay,
So I haven't got updates past that, but I do know that they were,
okay, I'll just keep that in my folder and ask every week, cause we're still holding on to that
yep.
payment,
Said we
so-
planned to get after it Thursday, wanted to start Monday, but Dustin had some stuff going on early this week, and I said, sounds good, thanks for the update, so.
Mhm.
That's what I know.
Okay, now let's move away from drainage.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. So, we did get notification from IPERS that they will no longer be accepting payments via paper check. And, all of theirs will be EFT. So, from now on, we will not be issuing paper checks to IPERS, we will be doing EFT payments. I did talk to Elizabeth about this, just to make sure that we're good, and she said, yep, go ahead to advise you guys, that this would be done via EFT from now on. and it will be listed, monthly, or, when we do payroll, that it's done by EFT too. So if you have any questions about that, you can let me know. But
Well, I would
Melissa,
imagine if I push that out, everybody in the state is gonna have to do the
So,
same thing.
So-
do you do some electronic fund transfers with others now?
we do, there's
Well, a lot
one
of our
other
payroll
that we
probably
do,
is.
what is it,
Federal probably is.
yeah, I can't remember, there's one other that we do, otherwise it's mostly paper checks, but.
Yeah, well, I don't think each and every individual electronic funds transfer, isn't that something different?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You can probably make a choice on that, I suppose.
Yeah.
As an employee, mine's direct deposit.
No, but I think there's a difference between direct deposits.
And EFTs,
And the
yeah.
EFT.
Mhm, yeah, it's just a electronic funds transfer.
I think
to-
they're both pretty similar.
I think there's a,
I don't know, what would the difference be?
I'm not saying the difference in the mechanics, I think that there's a difference in the legalities and things but I don't know, it's beyond my scope,
Yeah,
I just, if you're doing it with some other people already, I don't know,
yeah,
my cautionary would be,
we do not do it often, it is not something
Be
we
careful.
use,
Yeah,
we
when it's
use
gone, it's
paper
gone type
checks
of thing.
for everything, unless we are authorized to do otherwise, so, and, this is just one of those cases where
no,
we have to pay IPers, then they're not gonna take paper checks, so.
Yeah. We have no choice.
Yes, so, so I just wanted to make you aware of that. And I think that's everything I have.
We good?
You're good, alright, thank you.
Alright, board discussion, committee reports, Howard, anything?
nothing at all.
Nothing? Amber?
Ditto.
I'll break the chain on that one. CHADC on Wednesday. I was in Eldora a little before 10:30 to meet with Hardin County, and our executive director and attorney worked together with me as chair. So we discussed the lawsuit as directed by the full commission, and then we followed that up with our full commission meeting at 1 p.m. and barely got wrapped up in time to make it to that on time. So then we had a conversation as a commission about the proposed settlement terms that we came to. That was approved by the commission after closed session conversation, 22 to 5, I think. But we will have, probably on next week's agenda, we'll have a, discussion about that and more to come there, but each county will have to ratify what was voted on at the commission meeting, so. I'll obviously get into more of the details there in closed session since it's current litigation, but just saying that we did approve that as a commission, and, then follow-up will be with each of the counties, and we'll go from there. So that was my big highlight for the week that we haven't already discussed, so. I think that's what I got.
And I do not have anything either, so. Last but not least, adjournment.
So
Motion?
second.
Okay, wait, I missed, sorry.
Amber. And second by Stecker.
Okay,
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion carried unanimous. We are adjourned at 10:56.